We are back. Another day. A football day. It's Thursday, but the game isn't that good. Baltimore and Miami. I mean, we'll get to the picks later, but if Baltimore doesn't take care of business in this game, who knows? We'll talk about the spread. We'll talk about what I think. We got a lot of picks to cover. We got last night's picks. We got tonight's picks. I got a lot of basketball I want to talk today. It's a full basketball day. If you're into that, great. If you're not into that, you'll be into it by the end. It'll be fun. I do have two football tidbits that dropped. One right before we just went live, one earlier in the day. Cam Newton to Carolina. It's a cool story. Goes back, won an MVP there, went to the Super Bowl, etc. It's probably because I wore the Superman shirt yesterday. If you missed that, go back to the VOD, either on Twitch or on YouTube. MikeTheMush on both. It's got to be what it is. We talked about him being Superman, doing the, it's a fun story. It's a fitting end to his career. It'll be cool to think about until he actually steps on the field and plays. And then you'll be like, oh, yeah, I forgot. He's better than Sam Darnold. I would have given P.J. Walker a chance. I guess they're not going to do that. He played for Matt Rule at Temple, so you would think that he would have got a shot here. But it seems not. So we'll see what happens here. I don't know how fast he'll be ready. I don't know how he'll look. But here's what's not great. It's all wholesome. It's cool. You can't throw it, but who cares? He's getting paid up to $10 million for the rest of this year. That is insane, honestly. It is. Because that's half a season. That's a $20 million contract, basically. $4.5 million fully guaranteed. This is a guy that can't really play much anymore, I don't think. He didn't make that much in New England, so they're giving him a raise. Meanwhile, he's been on the couch and no one wanted to sign him. I don't particularly understand why they're paying him this. Is it just like a thank you and like, please just stop us from getting the number one pick, which you should want to draft a quarterback? I don't understand. Is this an under-the-table deal? Money laundering scheme? Why is he getting paid $4.5 million guaranteed? I don't know what other quarterbacks are getting paid that kind of money. Let's just jump right in because I want to know now. I need to know. Let's go here. NFL highest contracts 2021. I mean, this is a horrible way to do this, but if you figure we're halfway through the year and he's getting up to $10 million, I know it's not guaranteed, but still, that means he's getting paid roughly similar to Khalil Mack. I mean, what? Who's actually getting $20 million per year? I just want this season. Top salaries. Leaderboard. It doesn't get, it's only a top 5. Let's just go average. It doesn't really matter. I just want to Alright, let's go back. In any case, here we go. This is what we wanted. Nice and easy. Overthecap.com. Good to remember. He's making what Matt Stafford is making, basically. Or Dak this year. Or like Ryan Tannehill, if you want a real example. But he is leading one of the best teams in the AFC. Why? Even the 10 million number, it's only half a year, so I don't know why it's that high. But even that, you're talking about, and these are young guys, but like even Case Keenum is better than Cam Newton. Like, I don't understand any of these numbers. And if it's like a prorated $20 million contract, which he won't see the whole thing. I know it's probably riddled with incentives and stuff that he could never hit. But what are you doing? That's Matt Stafford money, man. Yeesh. Good for him. Get that bread. And Carolina's not doing anything anyway, and maybe he's the tank commander. Maybe he leads them to the number 1 pick. I don't know, but it's pretty weird. Odell Beckham is a Ram. Let's go to the Rams depth chart quick. Because he'll replace Deshaun Jackson, who just left there. Although he's not a speeder down the field, but Deshaun wasn't playing anyway, so what's the difference? He will battle Van Jefferson for the 3rd spot. Although Van has been pretty good. And he's better than J.J. Koski and Ben Skowronek. So, if you're the Rams, all right, you're going to pay him nothing. What's the difference? You're so all in on this season. So this tells me a couple things. One, Odell either actually wants to win. I need to talk FanDuel lineups. That's a Friday deal. But we do, yeah. Tomorrow we'll get into everything football. Make all our picks, fantasy. Any daily fantasy people I like. We'll definitely do that. Odell is either actually wanting to win and willing to take a smaller role to do so, which is weird because when he didn't get the ball in Cleveland, he forced his way out of there. Is that just because Baker is bad and he's okay with playing with Stafford even if he gets fewer balls targeted his way? I don't know. It's either that and he really feels that way, or he's trying to show that he can feel that way and trying to fill a good role and up his stock for next season when he'll be a free agent and wants a real contract. Maybe this is your agent saying, go to the place where you can win and succeed, rebuild your character, and get out there, you know? And if he buys in, then great. And if he's a diva, then they could just cut him. And if he was going to be a diva, why would he go here? It makes sense that he wants to be in LA. I get that. Cool field, good team. Sure. But if he was worried about catches, you're not going with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. They are 2 of the highest targeted receivers in the league, I would imagine. Let's find out. Cooper Kupp is number 1 at 103, and Robert Woods has 69, and he's, above a lot of different guys. And Tyler Higbee probably has a lot. He gets the ball. Good for them. Good for him. I don't know what kind of impact he'll have. He won't hurt at all. And if this is a rehabbing your image kind of thing, then great. I imagine Sean McVay has some kind of idea what he wants to do with him. This is a weird take, but maybe he goes, this won't actually happen in all likelihood. But Cordarrelle Patterson was always a receiver. And Atlanta started putting him in the backfield. And it's a really scary weapon to have. The Rams did this back in the day before McVay with Tavon Austin, too. They tried to make him like a scat back running back. That would be kind of interesting on a couple plays, like gadget stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird that he would have chosen this over the Packers. Maybe the Packers weren't that interested. Maybe there's a money difference. I don't know. I don't see why there would be. It seems like they're minimum deals regardless. And who knows? Maybe he's got friends on the team. Maybe he actually just wants to win and he gets a bad rep and his attitude isn't as bad as people think. It's interesting. Who knows? We'll see when he steps on the field. They'll try to work him in some capacity. I can't imagine Sean McVay would go out of his way to even sign him if he didn't think that he was going to use him. And like I said, he replaces Deshaun Jackson for them, who wanted to leave because he didn't get targets. So this is just the most ironic, weird swap. And I guess you would rather have Beckham than Deshaun Jackson. So upgrade from even the beginning of the season for the Rams when people were thinking Deshaun Jackson could fill an actual role. He didn't end up doing that, but still. And Van Jefferson is pretty good. Of course, we don't have his stats. Van Jefferson stats. Yeah, I mean, he had 88 yards in this game. He has 3 touchdowns. He's got 27 receptions. He's got almost 50 targets, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He plays a real role. I can't imagine he just goes away. He's a young kid. If he weren't buried by Woods and Cup, he would be better too. So maybe they're just... First of all, they don't run the ball at all, ever. And if you can't go get a running back that you like, I guess maybe you just go get another receiver and go 4 wide even more often and open it up, and maybe you have one of them in the backfield to block. Like maybe Robert Woods goes into some... I don't know. He could play out of the backfield. He can block a bit. They could do weird stuff. They could do end arounds. They could do wide receiver passes. Maybe they're just going to get super weird with it. But anyway, they're all in this season so much more than I've ever seen any other football team be all in. They have no picks. They traded all their picks for Matthew Stafford. They traded for Sony Michel. They locked up Aaron Donald with a ton of money. They have no money. They traded picks for Von Miller, 2nd and 3rd. They traded a ton of picks for Jalen Ramsey. And they got to pay all these guys at some point. The bill will come due here. This is 1, maybe 2 years. Maybe they have next year if they can figure out some cap stuff. And then that's it. You can't pay all these guys. You have no picks to replenish the team. You're going to be old. You're not going to be young and fast. They're going to have to do an unbelievable job late in the draft. They've given up all their first rounders. This could be a dumpster fire in 5 years for a while, because it takes you a long time to reset from that when you can't get top-tier talent flying around the field on both sides of the ball. But if they win the Super Bowl, does it matter? This is done all the time in other sports. Basketball, the Lakers don't have a first-round pick for forever, and we'll get into the trade machine in a second because I want to do that. But for football, you just don't really see it because there's so much risk of like, well, if one bounce goes wrong, you're not going to win the Super Bowl, and you need to set up a long-lasting thing. It's hard to just steal one. But that's what the Rams want to do here. And they have the best team in the league on paper. The loss to Tennessee was ugly, but we went over how that was just 2 random turnovers, and that was kind of just the end of the game. So I would imagine they're prohibitive favorites to win the Super Bowl. I would love to see Rams-Bucks. That's what I want. And to me, those 2 teams seem so much better than everybody else. Or at least I can trust them so much more than everybody else as of now. So we'll see. I don't know if this moves the needle on the Rams. It's just good depth when they already had good depth. And it's just more about, like, he's not going to another team. And more about the signaling of, like, we're collecting everybody. They're Thanos with the Infinity Stones. They want everyone on the roster. Come in, win this Super Bowl, and then we all go our separate ways. So we'll see how it goes. Who do they play this week? Coming off a loss. They play a division game, I think. Niners, maybe? Yeah. Monday night. Rams at Niners. This could be a game where the Niners secondary is so bad. I mean, we'll get into picks tomorrow. And this is a Monday game, so it'll probably be Monday. But, yeesh. Rams might smash. Okay. Let's talk about last night's picks. We'll get to the trade machine in a second, because I want to play with it today. I have a few teams I want to dump into the trade machine with. If you don't know what it is, you can just project trades and see if the salaries work. And it doesn't do draft picks, but you can kind of fill that in yourself and see what it would be like. We had Buffalo versus Michigan. I was right about this one. Michigan, they were -10 at home. The spread actually went up to 12.5 before tip-off, so we got it in at the right time. Michigan cruised. Buffalo did scare me. This guy dropped 32. Jonathan Williams was his name. Jonathan. He's a senior. If you remember, Buffalo was good last year. So they're not a pushover, but they had a lot of people leave. And I just figured that Michigan is so good that... I want to get this box score back up. That they would take care of business at home. They did. They scored 88. Here's a name to keep your eyes on. Hunter Dickinson. Hunter Dickinson sounds like a golfer to me. In any case, he's a big boy. He's a center. He's a sophomore. He's 7'1", 260 pounds, and he dominated Buffalo. 27 points. It just felt like they could give him the ball whenever they wanted and score.
On one with Houston.
So
Houston tackle away.
that's something everyone is going to have to deal with. I would love to see him go toe-to-toe with the Kentucky kid that dominated Duke the other day. Who knows if we'll ever get that. But in any case, Michigan looks really good. They're arguably one of the best teams in the league, and it was an easy money line win. The next one was Suns-Blazers. Another easy one. Blazers. What do we do with you? They were 0 for 13 from 3 in the first half. Really, truly ugly. They tried hard to come back. The Suns tried to blow the lead in the fourth quarter. Dame actually did play well in this one. 28, 7 and 7. He still didn't shoot it well from 3, and he still only got to the line 4 times. I'm telling you, that foul changes are killing the guys that are used to just getting free throws. You're going to see guys go from 30 points to 20 points. It might happen on average. But this team just seems broken to me. You look at Dame and McCollum, you're like, okay, Nurkic has never been able to stay healthy, and even when he does, it's questionable what's going to go on. It's not like he's the best center in the league. He's not your third best player, right? Like, Norman Powell has been pretty good, honestly, and he could be a trade chip if we want to get into that. He's solid, but Covington is almost zero. They traded like a first-round pick to get him, which is insane. And the Suns are just better. The problem is Ayton doesn't play in this game. Nurkic still stinks. They have no other big man to go to. Cody Zeller tried to get it going and missed 2 shots, and they were like, okay, no more. And Frank Kaminsky just rains on them. He just destroyed them inside and out. 31 points, 7 rebounds. Even JaVale McGee looked really good. So when I knew Ayton was out of this game, I'm like, who cares? The Blazers can't stop any big guys. Covington's a good defender, but he's a wing defender on big-bodied forwards. He's not going to defend a center. And the Blazers are going to have this problem all year. Even when Nurkic is good, he's not defending anybody. He's not going to shut down opposing big men. So if you're just Dame and McCollum, again, you're out here like, okay, we just need to outscore everybody, and Dame hasn't been great so far, and they're already 5 and 7. They're 0 and 6 on the road. So I want to jump into the trade machine for them first. Because if you're Chauncey Billups and you see Frank Kaminsky drop 31 on you, I think it's time to adjust. They should never have fired Terry Stotts. It's not Chauncey's fault. He's just not ready to fix this kind of broken mess. It's the GM that needs to do something here. And we definitely got to check it out. Okay. So let's add the Blazers. And if you look at where are they? They're on the West. If you look at their salaries, right? Dame says he wants to stay. You could do Dame trades, but the problem with Dame is who are you trading him to? If you wanted to do the Lakers, it's a Westbrook swap and then a million Lakers picks. That's the only thing you can do. They can't have Dame and Westbrook both on the roster, and that's the way you make salaries work. So we're not going to bother with that. And it's just hard to trade Dame. Like, you could trade him to the Knicks, maybe. Let's try that. Let's do Knicks. Dame Lillard goes to the Knicks, and in return, can't trade Randall because they just signed him. They're not going to want Kemba in that deal. You'd give RJ. You'd have to give Obi Toppin. You probably have to give Quickly. Where is he? Here. And then you still need $25 million in salary. So you have to give Kemba back. And then you have to match it up on the other side with another $10 million player. Larry Nance, they probably like too much. It could be Nurkic. Yeah, 1 year, $12 million expiring deal on Nurkic. And I think that would work. And then all the Knicks draft picks going back the other way. Yep. Successful. So you got RJ and Obi Toppin and Quickly for Dame and Nurkic. And this makes the Blazers 13 wins worse. But, of course, this is a punt of a deal. This is just trying to get what you can. You'd get 3 first-round picks with this. So I guess that's an option, but where else could he even go if you put Portland back in here and you look to see a second team? Boston? Could you get away with a Dame for Jaylen Brown kind of situation? You throw in Nesmith. You throw in Grant Williams, and probably Langford. Boston's not going to love that, but if you do it, maybe you'll only need to give 1 first-round pick with all 3 of these young guys. Unless you just want more you know what? Let's do this. This is easier. Neesmith actually can serve a role, but let's throw Wancho in there, and he makes more money. And then the salaries are already pretty good. Yeah, you can do that. I think that would be good for the Celtics. It makes them both worse, according to this, but who knows? And you'd still probably need to give a first-round pick back. So I guess that's an option. What else would even be available for Dame to go to? You could do... Can't do Brooklyn unless you get Kyrie back, but we're not going to go down that road. We can make the salaries work, but it's not going to happen. Chicago's already good. Cleveland's already pretty happy with what they have, and Sexton's hurt. He would have to be in the deal, and we can't do that now. Detroit doesn't have enough firepower. Indiana doesn't have anything they're going to want, unless it's a Sabonis deal, and I don't understand why they would do that. They would want to pair them. Miami already has their guys. Milwaukee, we did the Knicks. Orlando, no. Philly, the Ben Simmons thing works, of course. So you... Ben, relax. You do Ben, you do Dame, you give back Maxey and Tybal, and they probably wouldn't want to throw in Curry, but, you know, let's just even say you had to, and then to come back, you just give the Nurkic salary. I think this works. It does. It makes the Blazers worse, but Ben Simmons isn't playing, and this doesn't factor it in, so... and the lack of leverage. I mean, this makes sense, and then you talk about draft picks to compensate. I think this could make some sense, but you would want to pair Dame with Ben, if anything, right? So what if we change this, and to fix Portland, we trade McCollum to Philly for Ben Simmons, and... I mean... Is this that far away from a trade that's becoming reasonable? Just right there? I understand that Philly wouldn't be getting exactly what they want, but they're getting a guy that can play now, and their team is good now. What if Maxey and McCollum is a good enough backcourt to play with Embiid and Tobias Harris and all those guys? I don't think that's that crazy. You can argue over draft picks all live long day, and you can throw in any filler. But Maxey ain't going with, and I don't know what else they have to give. So maybe there's something around a McCollum Simmons deal. I like that. I think I would like Portland with Dame and Ben. That's nice. You'd probably want to upgrade. You'd probably take Nurkic. Right? Because the salary doesn't... No, actually, no. You don't have room for him because you have Drummond to back up Embiid. See, Philly would want something else, I'm sure. I just don't... If they're okay with picks, then maybe that. I don't know what else. I mean, you could get Covington to come back, I guess, and then just throw salary in here, which they don't have a lot of. They don't have available salary to give, but let's just throw, yeah, because you don't want to throw Tybal in there. He's good for you, and this doesn't work. You need, yeah, it needs to be 125%, and we're off. So, you know, maybe Covington couldn't go back. I don't know. There's something here. There's something here. Maybe you, they don't want to get rid of Curry. I mean, they're trying to win is the thing. So, it's a tough one. I don't want to spend forever on this team because I want to do a bunch of these. But anyway, the Blazers need to fix what's going on here. That's a fact. And those were the 3 games. Michigan money line, Suns money line, Blazers money line. We win again. We win again. We're on a hot streak. We haven't lost this week. The picks are looking good. Trade machine dreams. This is a good day. No complaints. On to Warriors T-Wolves. This was the other third leg, and I just didn't feel the need to necessarily dive into it as deeply, but there are trades to be made for the Warriors, right? Because they drafted Kuminga, who's not playing. They have Gary Payton as a little bit of a chip. They have Moses Moody. They have 2 young kids. They could upgrade. They could trade Wiseman. Could the Warriors... See, So what do they need, right? Like... Oh, we got to talk about Anthony Edwards, by the way. He scored 48 in this game. I love Anthony Edwards. This team is a dumpster fire because the combo of Towns, Russell, and Edwards doesn't work together. Russell just... I can see him reinventing his career really well as like a 6th man, awesome player, like a Jamal Crawford, like can handle the ball, can play crunch time for you very well. Like what Derrick Rose is doing right now, kind of. I could see D'Angelo Russell morphing into that, which is still a really good player. It's just that this doesn't work, and Patrick Beverley can't be playing 35 minutes for you. And just this whole thing doesn't work unless all your stars pop off. And Anthony Edwards did, and it didn't matter. This guy scored 48, but they were getting smashed the whole time. And Wiggins scored 35. Wait, Wiggins had some unreal dunks in this game. Did I open that? I think he posterized Towns twice, and they used to play together.
Steph thought about that from the hash mark.
Oh!
Vanderbilt didn't get the ball. Steph thought about that from the hash mark.
Damn, dude. I haven't seen him do that since college. Which dunk you liked more? I don't know. I liked them both. They were both on Cat. That's my guy. He got me last year, so I got him back. This is the same one. Does it show the second one? Hopefully.
Basketball's fun.
What did you think about the way you started? You were 10 for 10 before you missed your first shot.
I mean, filthy.
I had a good start.
Good.
You know,
He's
making
underrated.
shots, staying aggressive.
I don't need to hear his post game. Are we gonna show the second one? Yeah. Here we go. Oh my! Ooh, he's so good. He's always been underrated because he got paid a lot. But Andrew Wiggins is a good basketball player. I stand by that. Like, he's not a superstar for you, but if he's your 3rd best player or something, that's good. This is a guy that can score 20 a game, like proven 18 to 20 points a game with no problem. And he's scoring 17 on a good team that scores a lot. And he can rebound. He can handle the ball a little bit. He's not the best defender, and it's weird because coming out, it seemed like he was going to be an elite defender, and that's what was attractive about him as a prospect. But still, I wouldn't get rid of him if I'm them. He can play a role. He can definitely play a role. But yeah, Anthony Edwards, man. That kid is for real, for real. People were like dogging him when he was the #1 pick. I didn't understand why. And he's starting to shoot it really well. If he can shoot with his body and strength, oh, he's going to be a big problem. So they should figure something out quick. Like, what do the Timberwolves do? Can we get them involved in one of these trades? Can you trade Towns and, like, rebuild around Edwards? I don't think that's that crazy. And how do the Warriors upgrade? So let's jump into this game. I'm going to try to move faster. But, you know, get excited about the trade machine. It's fun. Let's go to Minnesota. Oh, no, I don't want a 3rd team. Start over. That's another day. That's if we really want to work out a specific deal between 2 teams, which I'm sure we'll do sometime. Towns makes a lot of money. I mean, you could dangle him in like a... Man, now you could do some... I didn't really think of them as a trade team. But what if you wanted to go get... The problem is they don't want to trade Towns unless it's like... I don't know. See, D'Angelo Russell makes so much money. He's got 2 years left at $30 million. What do you do with that? You can't get out of this, I don't think. Because you can't trade Towns for Dame. Because, like... It just... There's too many guards. And you can't give up Russell in that deal unless you're getting back... I mean... Yeah. I don't know... If you put them both in the deal, and then you're just like, okay, it's the Anthony Edwards show now, which I get, but you bring in Dame, you have to bring in, you're not getting McCollum also, because the Blazers are at least going to want to run McCollum, Russell, Towns. So you need money. You throw Rocco in. You're almost at the money, and you need to throw in... The Wolves need to give more, for sure. Do they have any young people to throw in? Balmero. Probably... You're going to have to give Nurkic back to play center for them. And that salary works, but you have... So this is Dame and filler for Towns, and you have to take on Russell's contract if you're Portland, but... If you're Portland, you're like not actually trying to win anyway. This is just to get Towns in the building, right? And then rework. But if you're trading Dame, you probably want draft picks, I guess. So I'm not entirely sure, but there's something to build around here, right? But you'd have to give Russell back or else it doesn't make sense because the Wolves wouldn't want to do that. But if you somehow you could give up picks with this, you know, it would feel really bad to give up Towns and give up some of your picks. But you could. And if you did that, I don't know. I don't know who has more value, honestly. This trade isn't that crazy. It obviously works. It doesn't make either team that much worse. It's an interesting one that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. So I'm into that. Let's do a Warriors trade. And let's see what we could get in the building for them. Golden State with a G. But you look at their roster and you're like... You look at the depth chart, I just like the way it looks. It's easier to visualize. I know it's not perfectly accurate. You don't need another guard because you already got Gary Payton. He might have to go the other way. But you got these two playing a ton of minutes and you got Clay coming back. Wiggins is going to be playing unless he's in the trade. You already have pretty good depth. The center position is what you want to upgrade, right? If you're them, obviously, and you'd be giving Wiseman up in a deal. So what kind of center can you go get? Could these two teams make a trade? That would be too crazy. There's no way they're going to give Towns to the Warriors. Right? It'd be funny, though. I could do this all day. And sometimes I do. Towns for Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody. That's 3 early picks recently. And then you need how much money? Wiggins go back to Minnesota. You could give Looney for some money. You know, you ask for like Naz Reid back just to get another center on the roster, I guess, or whatever. Or he has value probably, so they'll figure something out. And you need $8 more million, and then all your draft picks. So there really isn't $8 million here. You'd have to give him. You'd have to give him. And does it work? It does. Makes the Warriors a lot better. Obviously, it makes the Timberwolves a lot worse. But you could also trade D'Angelo Russell, hopefully, and just get that contract over, or just let it run out and trade him as an expiring next year. And this is, 1, 2, 3 good picks. Going back the other way that are young guys, and then you just give up 3 first-round picks or something on top of that, and just like sell the farm for Towns. He wouldn't need to give that many. Wiseman still has, I would think he still has value. He just got drafted second or whatever. And Kuminga and Moody were first-round picks this year, so maybe you just give another 2 first-round picks, which don't mean that much when you're the Warriors. And then you look at it, if you're here, and are you getting enough, I guess is the question. You'd have to really like Wiseman for this to make any sense. So if you just start over and go back to the Warriors, let's try to get a more reasonable big in there. I don't know why I can't figure out where Golden State ever is. Atlanta is competing. Boston's competing. Who are the teams that would be selling a big man, right? Vucevic hit COVID protocols today. Won't play for a while. Tough. Cleveland is good. Detroit doesn't have anyone. Indiana could give you Miles Turner. Maybe. You give up Kuminga and Moody. Oh, they have a trade exception. So they can take on more money. So this trade probably... Oh, the Pacers have a trade. I'm sorry. Pacers have a trade exception. So they could take on money. You can give Wiggins back if you wanted to get out from them. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Yeah, maybe you have to throw in Wiseman here. I mean, that makes sense. Is that too much for Miles Turner? It's not bad. Do they want him? Does he even, like, fit at all? I don't think so. I don't think... It's like, this doesn't seem worth it. Just keep the kids, right? Because Wiseman, you'd think, is going to be good. So he's not enough to give all that up for. Who else? Miami, Milwaukee, New York doesn't have anyone to give you. Orlando, neither do they. Could you go get Pascal Siakam? That would be fun. I like that. Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody. And then you need Wiggins to... yeah. You need Looney to make up money. You need Anderson and Lee. And that might work. Yeah. Wow, hasn't affected the winning... Oh, because these guys aren't playing? Is that why? I don't know if that does anything. I might do that. If you're Toronto, do you do that? Probably. Your team's bad, and you're getting a bunch of young guys. And you get out from this contract. I don't know. Are they bad? They have Scotty Barnes now. They haven't really seen what Barnes and Siakam could do. Raptors. ESPN. What do you go to? What's their record? They're 6-6. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you don't give him up for nothing, but I just don't think they're good. So if you can get picks, I mean, they're Warrior picks is the problem, but this is something. This is something. Who else? We should move on. You get it. The Warriors might make a move. They might. And they're awesome. Maybe they want to see what happens with Clay. All right, other recaps that weren't last night's bet. Knicks come back. They lose this game, but they were down a lot. They couldn't close it out. I love the Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin bench mob. Derrick Rose here, Alec Burks I like. Taj Gibson fits in really well here. You get Nerlens in there sometimes when he's healthy. They made the run, and then Tibbs never brought back the starters. So what does that mean to me? It means you have a team that is fucking 10 guys deep, 11 playing real minutes, 12 when you have Nerlens in there. Maybe Taj doesn't play then, but he can for sure. So you have 12 guys that can play, and you have McBride and Grimes who you drafted and can't even crack the lineup. Is this this just might happen, you know? If they're on a run, it happened with the Cavs too, like that good game where Rubio popped off that I was at. The bench stayed in a long time because if they're running, he's confident in them because they're good players. Like this Quickly Toppin pick and roll thing is nice. They're good together. And you have Derrick Rose in there with Burks and Taj. Like those are 5 legitimate rotational players. So, and Kemba hasn't looked that good. Who I love. Feel the need to say it. But he hasn't. And Mitch sometimes doesn't have it, you know? And if Fournier's not shooting well, I'm okay with all this. I didn't think it was a problem. I kind of liked it. Feel it out. The rotation will tighten up. Or does consolidating with a trade make sense for the Knicks? You know where we're going. But, yeah. I don't know. Obi Toppin tried to dunk on Giannis. And they called a foul, and then it got overturned, and Giannis was just like, go review that. I don't know if he was doing Mkembe or not, but it's got to be here somewhere, right? Really? Someone has it. I just always assume that Twitter's on top of it. Huh. I should have had it ready. But I don't. This ain't it, but look how good he is. Bang! This is the game I was at. Nice. Let's go Giannis block. It was an insane block. Here it is. No, it's against Brooklyn. Damn it. This is it.
Yes, they might let that go, King.
Play it again. Obi tries to go up, dude. He wanted it. Two hands. Giannis just... Nah.
Let that go, King.
Nah. Thanks to the dude recording his laptop from his phone and made sure to get his husband in there. That's what those are called. The back thing. It's a husband. I don't know if you could say that anymore. What if it's a wife? Anyway. Can the Knicks go 2 point guards at all times? That'd be interesting. If you always had two of Kemba, Rose, and Quickly on the court, maybe that rotational thing starts to make sense. You bump RJ down to the 3, and you play Randall, so you just go smaller. I don't know. There's something there. Connaughton also destroyed the Knicks, by the way. What was his line? 23, 9, and 5. He's 7 for 13 from 3. Why all the time do people just dominate, role players just dominate at the Garden? Or stars. Anybody. Everyone comes into the Garden. I get it. It's the Mecca. It's just so annoying. Every night. It's like they have a target on their back and they're not even good. If you're the champs and you have a target on your back, fine. Just because of the building they play in? Come on. It's insane. Oh, I forgot about the announcer calls in the Hornets game. Thank God I take notes while I'm watching basketball. Listen to this.
Leading by 5. Loose. Picked up by Plumlee. Here comes Rozier. He's got Miles. Oh! Yowza! Hum diddly dee! That was incredible!
Yowza! That's good.
Oh my goodness!
I still don't.
We gotta call timeout. Yep.
This guy-
Steven Adams said there's just no way we
This
can
guy's having a
continue.
moment. Oh.
My word.
My word is right. Hum
We
diddly
saw this
dee.
develop with a perfect angle. Look at Rozier.
I mean, the dunk
He's
was
like, did I throw
incredible,
it too high?
obvious.
You can't.
Oh my!
Look
You
at
can't
the ball's
teach this.
behind him. He had to
It's
reach
just pure
back
enthusiasm.
to get that.
A terrible
Out of the
throw
rim,
by
and-
Rozier.
I mean, he threw it down so hard he could not.
Leading by 5.
Let's listen
Loose. Picked up by Plumlee. Here comes Rozier. He's got Miles. Oh! Yowza!
Yowza!
Hum diddly dee! That was incredible!
The squeal when it went down.
Miles! Oh! Yowza! Oh! Yow!
It's like the, who was the guy that did the when he was running for president? Howard Dean, I think.
You know something?
I don't even know.
You know
who did
something?
that. I hope I'm right, though.
If you had told us 1 year ago that we were going to come in third in Iowa, we would have given
I mean, this
anything
is-
for that.
Well, we
And you
were
know
going
something?
today, but,
You know something? Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona
hype.
and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York.
just listening
And we're
to
going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan.
What order is he
And
going
then
in?
we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Yeah! It's almost the same.
Oza! Ow! Yow!
It's like you clipped him. Oh my god, it's perfect. Oh, I want to do like a techno remix with both of those. Yeah! All right. I just see you can't teach that. You can't. I don't even care about talking about the game. It's just, it was so good. It was so good. Kelly Oubre scored 37. I mean, what are we doing? Dylan Brooks scored 20. This game was just weird. Ja's awesome. I can't believe the Hornets won, but I can because Kelly Oubre scored 37 points. He went 7 for 9 from 3. Just, what are you going to do? Sometimes that happens. Kyle Kuzma. Buzzer beater. Pretty cool. They had a big comeback. Won the fourth quarter by 9. They're good. Why is Montrezl Harrell good now and he couldn't be on the Lakers? Kuzma, I get. He needs the ball in space, and he never had it because he's backing up LeBron. I get that. Dinwiddie's back and looks healthy. Beal actually played terrible in this game. He had 0 points almost at halftime. And Caldwell Pope played really bad too, but he's a solid player. Like, this team makes sense that they're competitive. 8-3, I don't know. But if Beal can be the superstar, this is the test, right? This is the best team Beal has probably had. This team is good. I really think this team is good. Like, Gafford is solid to pair with Harrell. Denny Avdia off the bench. Kispert is a rookie. I mean, this team is solid. Like, they could use another guy, but I imagine they just let it roll. Isaac Okoro came back for the Cavs, but he doesn't do anything. And Evan Mobley's still the best rookie in the league. We don't really need to talk about this, but Kuzma hit a buzzer beater. I felt the need to say it. Oh, this dunk was awesome. There were terrible games last night. This is the Detroit-Houston game, which is... Do I have the box score open? I don't. I mean, it's a terrible game, but it was Cade versus Jalen Green, so let's look for it. We'll be quick. Cade versus Jalen Green is fun, I guess. Cade had 20. 4 for 8 from 3. Good for him. That's a good game. 2 steals and a block. Green had 23. So they both played pretty well. 3 for 11 from 3. He can't shoot. Let's figure that out. But both these teams are awful. Who cares?
Little 1-2.
It was a cool ball.
Soft 1-2, 1-1 press. Green soars to the rim.
All right. That was Jalen Green dunk, which I'm skipping because this dunk is better.
First of all, Toronto, to me, is one of my favorite teams to watch. They play so hard. Anunoby, Van Fleet as Porter with a beautiful...
The actual double clutch that's necessary is baller.
So hard. Anunoby, Van Fleet as Porter with a beautiful...
That's nice. On we go. We got more trade machine work, and I need to get to it. This one. 2 more trade machine stops. Can we get the Celtics win this game without Jaylen Brown? And I don't think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum work together at all. And if you need to shake up this team in some capacity, Brown is going to have to be the one to go. Tatum's going to stay. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Probably not. I think they'll try to force these two together as much as they can, but they play the same position and they just need more. And when you have that much salary on your books, you can't get a point guard to facilitate it. They both kind of want the ball anyway. And they haven't been able to get a good big man, and I don't think it would help the problem. Like, if you put Towns on this team, like, they would be good, but you still need a guard who can do something, and they don't have one. So, to me, you can shake up this team big time unless you believe that they're good enough to win, but I don't think so, and I have 2 avenues you could go with this. Boston, and we bring back Portland. And then we go Jaylen Brown, Dame Lillard. Stop. And obviously the Celtics need to do more because Dame is more valuable, but we're already cooking with something. You go Nesmith, you go Hernan Gomez for the salary, and Juancho can play in a rotation, by the way. And then the salaries are almost fine. Maybe they want Peyton Pritchard. I don't think so. The salaries work here, and then you just give up the picks if you're Boston. And then you have Dame, Tatum, Horford. You might have to give up Robert Williams in this. I don't know. Who knows? But you have a team that you can start to be like, okay, this is different. We have Dame and Tatum now, as opposed to Tatum and Brown. And the Blazers, if you're getting picks and you're already getting... Jaylen Brown is one of the best pieces you're going to get in return for Dame Lillard, probably, right? Unless you do one of those other Simmons-type deals that we were talking about. But if you want to build for the future and have a real, legit guy, I don't know if he and McCollum can really play together, but maybe. And they would be shipping out McCollum after that, I'm sure, and going full tear it down kind of thing. It just all depends what they want to do if they ship out Dame, you know? But if you get rid of the Blazers and you go with the... You could go with Simmons here too, I think, right? Because Brown, Simmons, they talked about this and people got all mad. But, like, it's not that bad if you throw in Maxey. People think Brown is just better. And I get that. But Maxey's really good. And the Celtics have a trade exception. This might actually just work. No. It's still too much. So we throw in... Boston needs to give up salary. Juancho. Juancho makes everything work. That's why he's a great asset to have on the team, honestly. And that's why they signed him to this contract. There's no question about it, I think. And he could play in the rotation. This works. So Simmons and Maxey for... And so let's say they make them throw in... can't put Marcus Smart in here. I wonder why that... Oh, they can do it in January. Yeah. So I can't do it on the trade machine, but they can do it in January. Same with Schroeder, right? December, yeah. That's why these trades don't happen now. Because after you sign a player, you can't trade him for like 6 months. But there's something here. Why is this so bad? After all the trades we talked about, it's like, okay, so I don't think any draft picks even need to chance here. Maybe Philly gives one up. But they're giving up Maxey too, who's really good. And let's just somehow say you get... I don't think they want to give up Tybalt. Like, I think this is fine. It really looks fine to me. If Simmons is healthy and ready to play, which pending... I mean, who knows? But if you put Simmons with Tatum, it makes more sense. If you get Maxey in there to play guard for them, it makes more sense. Boston would be really good. They really would. It fixes some of their defensive issues. I think this is a great trade for them. I think it legit makes them better. Because Simmons can do the things Brown does defensively and athletically. And he doesn't need to be the ball handler because he'll have Maxey there and he'll have Tatum to be the guy on offense. I don't see why this is bad. People like lashed out about it. Makes the Sixers better. Yeah, because Simmons isn't playing. But I think this is fine considering Boston already knows that, to me, you watch them and you're like, this doesn't work. We need to do something. I think they're more urgent than they look. So I think this is something. It is. It's not fully baked, but it won't shock me really. Especially if Boston loses some more games. Like, I think that's fine. I don't hate it. I like Ben Simmons more than most people do. Like, people forget. And he's not expected to be the guy in the bright lights. He has Tatum for that. It's almost perfect. Even last year, what you call a disaster or whatever, and I know that it looked really like I get it. He's mentally maybe not there, and you have to, that's for interviews and stuff. That's why these teams actually know more than we know, hopefully. But in any case, even just the raw numbers, in a struggling year, he's giving you 7 assists. They don't have a passer as good as Ben Simmons on the roster. They don't. They don't have a defender as good as Ben Simmons on the roster at all. He shadows. He makes up for anything Tatum doesn't want to do on the defensive end, which, by the way, Tatum is a pretty good defender and capable. So with the two of them, you still have the rangy wing defense. Simmons can guard bigger guys that Tatum might not want to. They can run in transition together. They lose a shooter, but they gain Maxey, which I think makes up for it. And you got to lose somewhere because you're getting Ben Simmons out of the deal. I just think it's good. Their defense if Robert Williams can stay on the floor, Time Lord and Simmons and Tatum, and I really like Maxey, like that's a team I could get into. And you could get Smart to go in the other way, like whatever you need to do. But I saw backlash from Celtics fans, and I'm like, do you think your team is good right now? I don't. They look bad. Unless they're just willing to ride this out, but I just don't see the Tatum and Brown thing fixing itself. Unless they think they can dangle Brown to go get Dame, which we talked about. But in any case, if I'm Boston, I'm thinking about making moves. So, there's that. The Heat and Lakers go to overtime. I'm turning around on the Lakers, honestly. I already had it open. A little bit, I am. This is the second game in a row on a back-to-back. They go to overtime. They did it with the Hornets, too. They snuck that game out. They do it with the Heat, who are good. Both the Hornets and the Heat are good. They sneak this one in. They win the overtime. Davis looks solid. He's not shooting as many threes, which I like. When he bangs in the paint, they're good. Westbrook turns it over like a madman. So there's that. But he drops a triple-double, and he's producing. Maybe his confidence goes up while LeBron is out. Avery Bradley played well in this one. You're not going to be the same team without LeBron James, obviously. And Westbrook, I mean, you have to take the ball out of his hands a lot more. This needs to be the LeBron show. And I don't know what Westbrook is there for, if so. I like Westbrook as like a more of a spark plug. Like, you can manage LeBron's minutes a little more. And you can even take Davis and LeBron out for a while in the middle of games and put Westbrook in and let him just run. And if he turns it over, whatever, it's like Westbrook as like a bench mob guy. Still playing a lot of minutes, like 30 minutes a game, like 32 maybe. I think that's better. Like, I'll play Melo more. I'll change this a little. They're going to make trades. And LeBron is basically a point guard. And Rondo could come back and make this thing make a little more sense. If you have Rondo start, Westbrook's not going to like this. You can start him. It doesn't matter. But you're going to take him out quick and fix the rotations. So that for the most part of the game, you could have Rondo in when LeBron and Davis are in. And you could have Westbrook in when those guys are out. Maybe that makes sense. Westbrook and Melo, you know. We've seen that. And Monk shot really well. I don't know. There's something here, but they're going to switch something up. I can't do Lakers trades because it's like anything. Westbrook can't get traded anywhere unless you're going to get John Wall's contract. Does he make things better? Probably, but he's not actually on the court ever. So you can't just trade for a nothing $50 million player when you have a $50 million player that at least has triple doubles. So whether he's a positive asset or not, it's up for debate. I just see them doing something. Maybe they go get a different point guard. But if you move Westbrook to the bench, I really think, like, you just stagger the minutes. I don't want to say bench. You stagger the minutes of LeBron and Westbrook. And Davis can play with whatever. It doesn't matter. You play Davis as much as he can handle health-wise. Nothing else matters. But if you can play the problem is that when it gets down to crunch time, will Westbrook be okay with not being on the floor? Because I think there's a world where that's way better for them. To have LeBron, Davis, Melo, Bradley, and Monk if you can, if he's playing well. That team's just weak defensively. You could have Dwight Howard in there. They're going to need to change this. Like, they need to go get a wing defender. Kent Bazemore is not worth anything on this team. I don't know why he's starting it or playing. You need to replace that. So maybe you can just go get a guy like they'll end up getting it's not going to be Kyle Korver, but like LeBron went and got that guy before, someone who plays a role like that, whether it's offensively or defensively. Ariza's not coming back for them. That would have been good. But this team won't look like that. The role players won't look like this. But I can't do the trade machine for that because it could be buyout. It could be anything. So point is, Lakers are winning games. They're 7-5. LeBron's hurt. Is that so bad? I mean, the sky isn't exactly falling. So, and Malik Monk outplayed Tyler Hero, or they played to a 0. If he can be good for them, that's really awesome. That's really, really awesome. They need him to be good because they basically chose him over guys like Buddy Hield and like other guys they could have gone and traded for but didn't. Alex Caruso they could have kept. Guys like that. Monk has to play like this. They went and got a guy that they thought that could be good. And if he's like a non-rotational player, that's a disaster for them because they just don't have any like good defensive players. Bradley's the guy. Like he's going to have to play for you. So they need to replace this spot and the DeAndre Jordan spot as well, and just move Davis to center full time and just be a little smaller and have Dwight for when you need a big in there. Pull Jordan out of the rotation, go smaller, pull Bazemore out. You have Bradley, you have Westbrook, you have LeBron, Davis, and then you have another slot. Like, you can get another person in here. And you don't want it to be Melo, but, you know, it'll look a little different. They will do something. But winning games in overtime against playoff teams without LeBron, it's not that bad. I know Westbrook's a problem, but it's not that bad. Pistons, Rockets, we talked about. This is the only other game, and then we'll talk quickly about football, make our picks, and then get out of here. The Mavs are so bad. I can't believe they're 7-4. The Bulls are good. Lonzo made an insane pass in this game. He's awesome. I loved him coming out of the draft. And on this team, it looks like he can be what we thought.
He has missed 5 with a lower back issue. It's all about staying healthy for him. Lonzo Ball gives the Bulls the lead. Nice pass across the...
Isn't it? Oh, that's the one. Look at that. Look at him thread this needle.
This sensational pass.
Oh,
and then Levine the 360 dunk. This sensational pass.
Look at that.
And then Levine the 360 dunk.
Or that's a court vision, like you don't really see. Crowd vision. Everyone has good vision in the crowd. It's a great angle. Depends where you are. Yeah, Bulls are good. I don't know if this team can win a playoff game, and Vucevic is out now with COVID protocol, so they'll struggle because they have no bigs. Like, they have no bigs at all. It's just him. So, good luck. They're going to get banged down low. But they have wings and guards forever. So they'll be fun. I just don't know, like, what happens. I don't know. Can Vucevic handle himself? He's going to be really important for them. Like, really, really important. If they play like Philly and it's Vucevic and Embiid, isn't Embiid just going to eat them alive and win the series? It doesn't matter, like, what the other guys do. So he's got to be good for them. I would love for them to go get another big. Like, Patrick Williams out for the season. This is a team that should go get a big man. I don't know what you could do if you're them, really. And who knows what big men are, like, even available. And you can't give up. And you could dangle Kobe White, but, like, do people want Kobe White? And you can trade Patrick Williams, but he's out for the season, right? So I don't know if they have, like, they could trade Io, but they like him. He's good, even though they have, like, a billion guards. I don't know. I don't know if the Bulls are probably just, like, happy with how things are going. But I guess you could do something here. I don't know who it would be. I'm trying to think of a big. Cleveland is good, so they're not going to give up Kevin Love. And does that even... I mean, that's not what you're doing. Yeah. Miles Turner. But that's 2 guys that can only really play center, right? Like, oh, and I have 3 teams in here. Damn it, I keep doing that. You can't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to overthink this one. I don't know who it is. There might be someone available eventually. But it doesn't seem like we're nearing that point quite yet. Imagine they went and got Towns somehow. How fun would that be? Trade Vucevic? Yeah, I don't know. Like a Marvin Bagley? I thought he was going to be so good. Could you go get Zion? Give up like every pick you have? I wouldn't. I don't know. They're going to be like a hard team to improve. This is kind of, I mean, they can get like a serviceable role player, but we're not going to do that in the trade machine. I wanted to talk about Dallas in the trade machine because they have to do something. This team is so bad, like really bad. They have nothing good except for Luka. Porzingis, I loved him on the Knicks. I really have. And sometimes he fills it up, and I don't even know if his contract is tradable, honestly, or worth trading him because he has any value. But you have to do something else. Like, and Hardaway fits them. So this is what the problem you run into is, like, all these guys do make some sense. Finney-Smith, no. But, like, you need someone to defend. So, and Powell, like, Bullock can shoot. You don't need him. And, like, all these guys are pointless. Moses Brown, I thought they were going to get him. He looked good last year for the Thunder, and he has just done nothing. Brunson is good, but how do you improve this team? Like, what do you do? Can you go get Brad Beal? Can you go get... You need... If you're gonna have Porzingis on the roster, you're like just riding that train so hard that I think you need another bigger guy to take some pressure off that when Porzingis isn't in. They don't need Powell in the lineup. They don't need all this kind of stuff. And again, we're talking about like how big guys are hard to come by. But could you do a Warriors thing here with Wiseman? But what are you giving them? Warriors with Porzingis, but they're not going to do that. So I don't know if that makes sense. I wasn't sure how to do this with them because they need something like substantial. And Washington isn't going to trade Bradley Beal for nothing anymore. They're not going to trade him at all, probably, unless they get an unbelievable offer. So what is it? Could you put Simmons here? Maybe that makes sense for both teams because they're both kind of bad. There's only so many guys that are like available that are really good, you know? Or else I'd be here for 2 weeks doing the trade machine, which we probably will be until the deadline. But you get Simmons, and then what do you give back? It has to be Porzingis. Like, what else? They're not going to do it for free. And why is Philly doing any of this? For just picks? Philly doesn't want picks. So maybe they take... You can't take... I mean, Porzingis is worth nothing to them. They don't want to pay him. So this doesn't... Like, I don't know how you get players if you're Dallas. You just give up picks. That's all. So you need to be shopping on bad teams. So maybe Minnesota Towns... I mean, I can only do this so many times. Whatever. You guys get it. Towns would work. I guess. You just try to fill salary. You give up Dwight Powell. You give up Kleber. And you give up Cauley Stein. And the salary already like pretty much works. You can give up Finney Smith too. Like, none of these guys matter. And then you just try to take back, like, Jake Layman. Like, anything... Any like role players you can get, and then you're playing for next year. You're just like trying to rebuild around Luka and Towns. I mean, they could still be good. Like, you get Luka, Towns, Bullock stays, Tim Hardaway stays, and you're fine. Like, you might even need to give up one of those two guys, but that's fine. And then you still have Brunson. You have guards now. You have Towns down low. You still have Porzingis. Yeah. That's a team that can compete now, but you'd have to give up all your picks to Minnesota, and I don't know how they feel about that. But it's an interesting one. Okay. No more trade machine. I got to cut myself off. It's fun, though. We'll get back to it. Thursday night. I'll do more of this tomorrow. Friday, obviously, is full football day. Looking into the weekend. We might talk about the Max Holloway fight on Saturday briefly, but there's not that much to talk about. He's a huge favorite. Maybe I'll lead with that tomorrow. In any case, this game, I'd rather look at it in hindsight. I mean, what are we going to say? The spread is a little too big for me. It's 8.5 right now. I don't love that, only because Thursday night game after a grueling overtime win against the Vikings, that overtime went long. I just don't love laying big numbers on Thursdays anyway. They're weirder games. I know the Dolphins aren't good. Is Tua playing? Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think he is, right? We don't have it. So... likely to be out. Yeah, I mean, I like them a lot more with Tua, and I wonder if he would move the line at all, maybe a point. But it was 7.5. It probably went up to 8.5 because it's looking less and less likely. Doubtful. Yeah. He's been doubtful though. He just wasn't ruled out, so you never really know. In any case, I don't want to bet on Brissett at all. I'm not going to. This is an easy tease game to me. In an ideal world, I'll just give it to you now. Tomorrow, the Ravens are going to be in a bunch of teasers for tomorrow. I don't want to blow those picks right now because I don't have time to go through it, but we'll talk about all of them. If you want to put the Ravens in any open parlays, you can do that too. We'll fill them in tomorrow. But you'll see some games there that you probably like. and the Ravens are an easy tease if you like them tonight. But like I said, you could do the money line and just open parlay. It's not that different. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Ravens defense can't stop anyone is why I don't like them giving that many points, because they could get backdoor. But they have to win. Like, you have to win this game. And if the Ravens lose to the Dolphins, it's like the Jags beating the Bills to me. It's just like, what are we even talking about? But I like them with the points. I will tease them down, and I will be watching this game because of that. And I like their money line for tonight. We're going to go with, for the picks, another 3-team favorite parlay. I know we're playing with fire a little bit because the odds aren't great, but there's not too much to work with tonight. I hope we're not forcing the issue, but I like these. I have reasoning for them. And I'm really just following the model that hit last night. And maybe that's not a good thing. And if I feel danger, I probably shouldn't do it. But you got to be confident. We're on a hot streak. So, buyer beware. But I still think these picks are good. Ravens money line, like we said. I like the Jazz at home. I guess we don't need the stats for this. I like the Jazz at home. So it's Ravens money line. Jazz at home versus the Pacers. The Pacers are really banged up. LeVert is not playing. The Pacers also played last night. They've been losing a lot. The Jazz just wear on you. I think Rudy Gobert shuts down Miles Turner big time. Their Jazz are just really good in the regular season, good at home. The Pacers have been terrible. I don't think this line is big enough. I think people still think the Pacers are going to be good, and I think they just have issues. I don't think that team is great. Unless Sabonis lights it up, they don't really do that much, and they have all these injuries. And then I like Arizona State at home against UC Riverside. I'm doing the same exact thing I did yesterday with Michigan. Arizona State is roughly 50th ranked in the KenPom rankings. That basically means they're a tournament team, roughly. They have Hurley as a coach, brother of the good Hurley, who coaches up in Storrs, Connecticut. Go Huskies. But this is against a team that's ranked around 150th in KenPom. In other words, it's a tournament team versus a team that can't even sniff the NIT. So just take care of business. These are 3 take care of business games. You should win them all. The odds pay out at like minus 118. Or that's when I did it. So it'll roughly be around there. So go for that. We've been hot with this model. We're going to put it to the test. And maybe we end up following it more as time goes on if it hits again. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at MikeTheMush. If you're on the YouTube, follow on twitch.tv/MikeTheMush. Come chat with us. It's fun. It's more fun, I'll tell you. Don't tell the people at YouTube. But if you're interested in joining the Discord, there's an invite on the About page of my Twitch channel. That will be fun, so we can do voice chats with people. While we're talking about the game, sometimes someone will have a hot take in the chat. We'll pull them in. We'll talk to them, see what happens. Could get interesting. And that's a wrap. We'll be back tomorrow with football all day. All the picks. Some fantasy advice, maybe. Talk about some injuries. What's to come. Go Ravens. See you tomorrow.